What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning into Broken Down Revive podcast. I am your host, Jossie, and I do have my beautiful sister back here again.
How you doing?
And if y'all don't already know her name, it is Tanesia, and you like to go by TT?
I like to go by TT.
Okay, but her name is Tanesia, not Tanisha. Tanesia. But today we're going to be talking about from her journey from single to marriage. Ooh. How was it to be single for so many years? Like, did she experience, like, what was her experience like? Did she experience any loneliness? And, like, how do, like, just basically her overall experience on what it feels like or to be single, and then go right into marriage.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, because we got so many women out here. They got I want this episode to be for the ones who don't got hope, who feel like I've been single for so many years. I'll be hearing like the dated pool got poop and pee in it. Everybody like it just suck out here. But I want someone to have hope that it is possible for your Boaz to find you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna dive into asking you, how long was you single before you met your husband?
My whole life.
Your whole life. Oh my God. Really?
So I would say that I was single over 5 years. Mm-hmm. And when I say single, I define it as not entertaining anybody, no phone conversations, no cuddy buddies, no dates, no Netflix and chill. Like, it was no conversation until somebody come along. Like, it was absolutely nothing. Like, it was dry. Okay. So when I identify as I define singleness. When you're single, mm-hmm. You're not entertaining nobody. Yeah. You're not having nobody filling the space for company and different things like that. So I was completely focused, completely on myself. So that's when I say I'm single. Okay. Because when you can say you single because you ain't married, right? But to me, when you're single, it ain't nobody else in that space, right? Because some of us say we single, but we entertaining somebody, mm-hmm. or we in the bed with somebody, or we going on dates with somebody, Yeah. So to me, when you single, you single, okay?
Right. So basically, just 5 years. So 5 years.
It was over 5 years.
Over 5 years.
That was just my mark. Okay. So I just put that as a milestone, but it did go over 5 years. Okay. For sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's a long time. To be single in your adult years. Mm-hmm. Would you say that experience was lonely? Was it depressing? Like, how was your experience to be single over 5 years?
Okay, so I do want to start with what made me made up my mind
to be single.
To be single.
Oh, okay. So you were single for over 5 years. Mm-hmm. We're gonna say like 7+.
Yes.
So clearly you dated before. Yes. And of course we know you was doing something because you got a kid. Right. We know you was doing something, Doing something. So we want to know. That's a good start. Like, what was it like? What made what was what you say?
What made me
want to become single?
So what made me want to become single, I heard on the last episode. Not the last episode, but one of your episodes when Ashley was on there. Shout out to Ashley.
Yes, girl.
But I was listening to Ashley, and I remember when she said that she was dating the same person with a different face. Mm-hmm. And that was my experience. I had ended up realizing, my life going in a cycle. Mm-hmm. Why do it feel every relationship look the same? It end the same, everything happened the same, but it was like, same person, same experience, different person, mm-hmm. I should say. So I'll put it like that. Yeah. So I got tired of that. Mm-hmm. And I knew that it was something in me that had to be attracting the same type of people. Like, so I can, at first I was a victim, like, because at first I wouldn't take no accountability to, I wouldn't take any accountability as to why the relationships was the same. I kept blaming the people. It's them. Why am I keep dealing with the same person? These people is like this and X, Y, and Z. But I think my turning point was when I started focusing on myself and realizing that, hey, you know, you're accepting this. So it's obviously it's something in you that makes you feel that you can accept this. So that's kind of was my turning point. So I had ended up realizing that I said I ended up getting saved for real after the last person I talked to. It wasn't really serious, but I got saved because I really just got tired and I noticed that it was a cycle. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, God, I've been doing this thing on my own, but now I'm finna put you in it. Yeah. So I had ended up getting baptized and I started making different choices. And I started telling God, don't bring another person in my face if they're not for me. Right. And that's what I had started telling God. I didn't no longer desire the same experience. I didn't want that no more. So yeah.
Okay, so that's what made you like, let me just be by myself, because obviously I keep attracting the same men and I'm tired of this, you know. Yeah. So it's like you kind of discovered your self-worth as well during that process.
I was because I actually at the time didn't know what I wanted. Yeah. I didn't know what I wanted. I started learning what I didn't want. But I couldn't say I want X, Y, and Z. I didn't know what I wanted. I started learning what I didn't want. Yeah. But eventually I started learning what I did want when I started learning what I didn't want. Yeah. I started learning what I did want when I started learning what I did not want, what I did not want to continue to accept. Yeah. So that kind of was my turning point.
That's good. That's real good, because sometimes we don't know what we want. So it's like, I really don't know. So it's like you kind of just was in your phase of exploring, like, let me see. But then it's like, okay, now I know. Now that I experience like the same spirit in different bodies. It's like, I know, I like, let me, like, I don't want this no more. So I feel like that's a good place to be. It's like you kind of come in grips of self-awareness. Yes. This is what I do not want. So I feel like that's a good place to start with learning like your self-worth.
Yeah, because I think even in my experience, every man like, I want you to have my baby. But I'm like, you know what? I'm a whole wife. Okay. And then after my experience with being a single mother, I knew that wasn't something I wanted to experience again. Even when I became single mother, and I'm like, baby mama don't fit me. Yeah. I am a wife. Yeah. And this do not look right on me. Yeah. Baby mama, and that's it. Baby mama, period, don't look right. Okay. Right. Yeah. So I'm like, no, let me take this punctuation off, because this cannot be a period here. Okay. Because I did not want that to be the end. Yeah. But I didn't think that it looked right on me. So part of me did start finding what my worth was. Yeah. And I didn't, and when people would say, know your worth, I did not know what that meant. Yeah. But when I really think about it now, I'm like, it really just means knowing what you deserve. Yeah. Because it wasn't plain to me, even though it's so plain and simple for you to comprehend. I just wasn't comprehending at the time. But I was like, it just really learning, what do you deserve? Yeah. What do you think? And I had to start learning me. So I'm like, okay, I'm faithful. I deserve somebody faithful. Yeah. I'm honest. I deserve somebody honest. I'm truthful. I deserve somebody truthful. I'm loyal. I deserve somebody loyal. I'm supportive. I deserve somebody supportive. I'm encourager. So I started learning who I was, and I wanted that back in return.
Yes. So it's like you want this to be a reciprocation. Yes. Like, I need you to be able to pour into me, not me just pouring out to you.
Yes. I'm like, I'm not gonna be loyal, continue to be loyal to somebody not loyal to me. Yeah. How can I keep being honest to a liar? Right. So I just did not want that. No, yeah. I don't want nobody making me look like a fool, honey. Right. No more, okay?
Okay, girl, we heard that, child. But okay, so we know that you discover like your self-worth, which made you come to grips, I want to be single. Like, let's try to get to the root of what I'm keep attracting. So during your process, when you finally decided to be by yourself like 1000%, what emotions did you have to go through, like to even be able to come to grips, like, because sometimes when you're so used to doing things your way in life, or you may have like a soul tie, or just you just connected attachment with someone. Like, how was it to break off, like, okay, I'm about to be single, and then, like, did you experience any loneliness, any depression? Like, what was that like? Like, what was the emotions during those years?
So my emotions was, I was fed up, I was tired. So those was the emotions that I experienced. As it pertains to loneliness and depression, I did not experience that. I filled my time up with learning me. I do feel like we are so much in a rush to want to learn somebody else, or wanting to love somebody else, or someone to love us, but we don't know how to properly love our own self. I do think from when I look back over my experience, I didn't get properly loved because I didn't first properly love me. So how do I really require for a person to do something greater than me? So I couldn't expect for you to love me more than I love my own self. So I do feel like I had to learn to love me, and that was a process. So I had to learn me, I had to date me, I had to love me, and I had to accept me. So those were some of the things that I had to go through. It wasn't always an easy journey. But it felt good. It felt good knowing that I kept my body to myself. It felt good knowing that I wasn't giving a part of me away to somebody else just for it to end again anyways, or feeling like I need to stay in this situation because of what I just did. So that felt free to me, and that felt powerful to me. So I felt powerful knowing that I didn't give myself to somebody. I felt powerful being able to identify the spirit in the person, knowing who the person was before I even connected with them. Instead of connecting with them and then finding out, I was able to later discern when something wasn't right. But I do know, even in my process, I say God changed my appetite, because many of people who know me, I like the worldly man. She did. I like the worldly man. I liked it, the men who was kind of like thugs. That was in the streets, they selling drugs and ain't had no job, and smoking and drinking, doing X, Y, and Z. That was what I wanted. I don't know why I wanted it, because I knew it wasn't for me. But it was still my appetite, and that's what I fed. I fed that appetite because that was my desire. But even as I started spending more time with God, telling him what I wanted, what I didn't want, I do feel like in the midst of that, what I desire began to change eventually. So when men would come my way that was like what I was used to, I started feeling disrespected. I started feeling like, really? Like, no, you would never get another chance. Not saying that I dated them, but that spirit, that I was connected to or I was familiar with, wouldn't get another chance with me.
That's a good place to come to. Like, no, I realize this now. You're not getting back in my life. Like, whatever trying to attach on to me. So you didn't feel any loneliness, no depression. So do you feel like you've been fed up helped you to, because because I feel like now that we long, like, first of all, did you long for love, like true love? Like, did you want to be married?
I desired marriage. Okay. But I desired marriage. And one thing I learned is just because you are alone doesn't mean you have to be lonely. Right. To me, those are two different things. So I didn't experience loneliness. The truth of the matter is, what I would share with people is on Valentine's Day, I loved it love. Mm-hmm. So even when I would see people who was in love, it just flattered my heart. Like, because I love that much. So one day I felt like it would be my time, because I knew who I was. I knew that I was a wife. I just had to be the wife to the right person. So that's what was my determination and my fuel, because this is my life, this is my heart, this is my emotions, and I did not want to give that to anybody. I didn't want to give it to another person who didn't value what I had to offer. Like I'm faithful. You don't care about that. Right. Like, do I really want to give that, take a chance to give that to another person? I didn't. So I think my experience is what helped drove me into that place, knowing that I didn't never want to return back to what the pain that I felt from breakups and the heartaches. I didn't want to experience that again.
Did you feel like because you were single for so long, did you feel like, oh, I'm not gonna never probably get married? Or
there were times I was doubtful. There were times where it did feel like what I wanted didn't exist, or it's not gonna happen for me. Of course, look how long it was where I just really took so much time out for myself. I'm like, okay,
You said, okay, now God, I'm whole now.
Yeah, but I would glance there, but I wouldn't spend too much time in that place. I do feel like when your mind's so set on your desire, it can become a distraction. So I don't want to get distracted by my desire. So I kept my eyes on trying to heal from the things that I've been through. Because I don't want to show up as this broken person when I desire a whole man. Like, so I didn't want to and that's the thing too. I wanted to be what I was desiring. So I didn't want to have this expectation on a person. He got to be healed. He got to be a man of God. He got to be X, Y, and Z. And I'm not that. Like, so I had to make sure that what I wanted is who I was, so that I can attract what that was in the first place, So I do believe when you do the work within yourself, you're going to attract what's in you. That's why my experience was what it was in the past, because what was in me, that's what I'm a believer of. So
all right, that's good. So I feel like your mind would kind of, because sometimes we having the most craziest thoughts.
My mind.
So it's like it would shift there in doubt, but it's like you didn't allow it to stay there, like like stay in that place, like, because I feel like once you start dwelling on it, that's where those other emotions come in. Now you like, I just ain't got nobody. It's kind of like your perspective is like you had hope, like, I know I'm a wife, I know there's somebody out there for me, but it's like in the meantime you kind of allow God to fill those empty voids. You discovered yourself, discover your wants and don't wants, so I feel like you kind of kept yourself above ground. It's like you was doing the work, especially not to stay in that lonely place. Because I feel like nowadays in with society, I feel like some women kind of dwell on just not what they don't have, versus let me discover me, let me love me, let me wait on my man, let me prepare for him to come.
Because I'm like, some simple questions we don't even know how to answer about ourselves. What are some things you like to do? I don't even know. You know what you do in your alone time. I don't think I ever be alone. So it's like just simple questions, not even being able to answer them because you don't even know enough about you. So I do feel like learning yourself is a really continuous journey, a journey that continues. You will never stop learning yourself. We evolve every day. Like, so that means there's always something new that I'm learning about me. The same way you can completely not know a person, that person is you too. So because you are evolving, and because some things as you journey along life, it unfolds. A along the way. So I feel like it's always something new that you will learn about you. So I put that focus on that, and it kept me in a place of contentment. So I was, although I had moments where I'm like, okay, doubtful or whatever, for the most part, I was content. Like I was okay in the place that I was.
Yeah.
Because I would rather be in this place than to go back to where I came from.
Right.
So that's kind of how I looked at it.
Yeah. I had a question that just kind of dropped in mind. I feel like that would be a good question. So, you know how you say like you wanted to make sure you did not connect with the same like spirits, and it's like, no, not another chance. So have you ever dated? Well, no. Okay, so have someone ever approached you, right? And you don't know how this person is. It's just like a generous approach, like they just want to, get to know you more. So, have you ever attempted to about to settle?
You know what? That is a good question.
like what you about to say?
Okay, I ain't even finna lie. Okay. So it was this time, right? Mm-hmm. I was working at the bank, and it was this guy who was very attractive. He was my type. I don't feel like I had a type, but he was attractive.
Yeah, it's like this.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say he was my type, but he was attractive. Yeah. And he did have a lot going on for himself, and we had some very good conversation with each other. Yeah. And he did want to take me out, and we exchanged numbers, and I talked to him over the phone a few times. I kept feeling something in my spirit. Or I should say, now that I'm aware, it was God that was pulling on my spirit, and he was telling me no. And I was in a car because he called me. And I was in a car, and I was talking to God, because in my spirit I kept feeling like no. Yeah. And I said, what? And I said, it's just me and God in the car. And I said, what you mean no? It ain't nothing but it ain't nothing but conversation. It ain't nothing but going out to eat. It's innocent. What's wrong with that? Yeah. And in my spirit, God told me that this is why you kept, one of the reasons why you kept returning back into the situations that you were in the past. Wow. You told me to not let another person in your path that wasn't for you. But, if you entertain him, you're going to fall for him. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not. Because you letting me, he was letting me know at the beginning, this not for you. Yeah. So don't even get involved. Yeah. And in my mind, I said, God, no, I'm not, because I'm only finna talk to him, and it's only a conversation, and it's only out to eat. It ain't nothing wrong with that. But he was letting me know that whatever you entertain, you will eventually fall for it. So I had to fall back, and I said, you know what, God, I told you I don't want to visit back that experience. So I had to obey the Holy Spirit. And there were actually a few times after that, other men that were trying to approach me before my now husband came along. And it was like every time they tried to come my way, God was like, no, he a player. No, this not gonna work out. And I had to actually learn to yield to the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Because I'm like, because I asked God to be in it this time, now he's intervening. Now I have to step back and allow it. Yeah. I had to realize that, God, you know what's best for me. And I couldn't think that I knew more than God. Because one thing that I learned is that he know their heart. Yeah. I don't know him. I got to get to know him. Yeah. But he's trying to save me from the heartache again. But it was up to me to obey the Holy Spirit. It was up to me to listen to it. Yeah. To listen to him and to yield. And that's exactly what I did. But I wrestled. Yeah. I wrestled with that thing. Yeah. But I did still obey the Holy Spirit, although I wrestled, because I know that God knows better, know him better than I do. Right. Exactly. So I had to be okay with what God was telling me. Yeah. And truth be told, I had to realize, God, you have my best interest at heart. Right. So yes, I did. That is so funny. I did. I almost settled. Yeah.
That is so funny. I definitely was like, Yeah, because I feel like you was in that place where it's like, okay, I've been single for 6 years. I mean, 7+ years. Like you discover what you want, don't want. So it's like now you get somebody on the outside who look like this is my type for sure, and it's like God like immediately no. But I feel like sometimes because he could have had every right word that you needed to hear, but it's like thank God for the Holy Spirit.
Yes, when I tell you that conversation was on point. Like we had good conversation. Yeah. We had very good conversation. But I did block him after I wrestled with God in my mind, and I just said, you know what, I'm a yield. I blocked him, and I never had looked back. I never gave an explanation. I'm like, I cannot entertain this conversation. Yeah. So after that, conversations did not go past one conversation.
Yeah, it's kind of like you hurt the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and I had to be open to listen to the Holy Spirit. Yeah, like I had to be open. I'm like, one thing I learned is God. Even when I thought I was a victim, God was always speaking. Yeah, but sometimes you want what you want, and it's like skip that. Like I want love, so I'm not gonna hear what the Holy Spirit and all He's saying is I'm trying to save you. Yeah, I'm trying to reserve you for what I really have for you. Yeah.
And I would say thank God you wasn't in a desperate place, because sometimes I feel like we see those red flags, and it's like in we call it intuition. I feel like it's the Holy Spirit, but we don't know that He's talking. But in our like women's intuition, it's like we know like, but it's like you just kind of ignore those signs. You ignore what your gut is telling you, and then you just decide to be with that person or test it out anyways, because you want to do what you want to do.
That's so true.
But it's like you never know, like you don't know what God is saving you for. He's not telling you no or wait or this not it to hurt your feelings or to not be good to you, but He's protecting you. Like you never know what He's trying to
save you from. It could be abusive relationship that He's trying to save you from. Cheating. It could be somebody's husband. That He's trying to save you from getting attached to. Right. So you just have to listen to the Holy Spirit. Yeah. One thing I know people always say, they ask me, so what do you listen to? Do you listen to your heart or do you listen to your mind? And I said, I don't listen to neither, because my mind can change and my heart can deceive me. So I don't listen to neither one. I listen to the Holy Spirit, because it's something on the inside of me that is telling me if this is for me or not. Most of the time we know when this relationship not going somewhere. Yeah. When I look back, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I played dumb, but I wasn't dumb. I played foolish, but it was always something on the inside of me. Even though I stayed around to see, it was still something on the inside telling me, no, this ain't going nowhere. Yeah. He not finna be serious about you. Yeah. Or he's playing games with you, or he's not going to he would give me enough. I would know when you just giving me enough to string me along. Yeah. But it was because of the place I was in, I was willing to accept any way of somebody loving me. But one thing I learned is I'll say that I'm accepting love, or I want love, but I'm still not receiving it. Yeah. You think that, calling me whenever you want to, picking up the phone only at night time hours, or not spending time with me begging for you to take me on a date, those are not indications that is love. Right. But because I did not know what love was at the time, I accepted anything. But now that I know what love is, I know what to accept.
And that's what drew you to your husband.
Yes. And before we get to that, one thing I'm gonna say too is there were people around me that were getting married in the midst of my process. Yeah. But one thing I could be honest and say is that I did not hate on nobody. Yeah. And I did not envy nobody. Right. But one thing I can say is I participated in the getting ready. The excitement. I was excited. I act like it was me. And I made sure that I participated in that person's what do you call it? The process of them getting to the aisle.
Yeah. She definitely was. Like when I got engaged, She just was so excited. Like, she just like, let's go. Like, let's go to the store. Like, what's your colors? Like, she's sending me stuff. Like you just sending me stuff, like trying to help with the process. Then COVID happened. We got married during COVID, but then we paused on even planning our wedding. And then she was like, what y'all gonna do? Like, y'all still get me? I'm like, it's a COVID, like it's limits and stuff. But she definitely was excited. And you could feel like I'm not just saying it because she my sister. But it's like you can feel when someone is happy, like because somebody can like, oh my gosh, but you could feel when they not. But she was definitely like very happy.
Yes, I'm like, I'm finna throw bridal showers. I'm finna help try to participate, put this together. It was exciting. For me, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
But I supported and I was excited like it was.
Yeah.
So I would say too, like, so we just got to be careful that our heart is also in the right place when other people before you is getting something or they arrive at their destination before you get to yours. Yeah. So that's something that I would say too. Like, just make sure that you keep your heart in the right posture. Yeah. Because we all have our own timing. Yeah. And God's timing for our lives is perfect. Yes. It's not too late nor too early. Yeah. He gives it to you right when it's the right time for you.
Yes. That is amazing. Like, he definitely does. His timing is perfect. You may not feel like you be like, you a little late, but trust me, when he show up, it's right on time. I know that our time is coming up, but this is so good. Like, oh my goodness. God, I want to stop. I know, because I'm like,
I know. Okay. I feel like it's so much to unpack. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place. But I'm like, ooh, let me say this.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to dive in how do you want to dive into how it was? I know, like, time is like,
I know, but how about we
need a part 2?
We do a part 2.
We're gonna need a part 2, yes, because I feel like it is so much to unpack. I feel like it's so many great gems dropped, like just having that different perspective. It's we gotta have a part 2.
Yes. And then I can share, the part when I knew that my husband was my husband and different things like that. So
okay. Yeah. So I think we cover mostly like your experience before marriage, right? Yes. Like okay, y'all. Okay. So we gonna pause this right here. But please tune in next week for part 2. We are going to have a part 2 to, keep unpacking some things, and then her getting to the point of being single after so many years and stepping into marriage, and how she even knew he was the one out of knowing that the other guys wasn't. We gonna get to that. What words of, we're not doing that. Encouragement.
No, we can do it. Yeah. Okay. We can do it. It's okay.
Okay. So as we end this part 1 of this episode, what words of encouragement would you like to give someone who is single right now and hoping to one day experience true love?
Your desire is good to have, because God said he would give you the desires of your heart. I will say, keep your hope alive. Don't get distracted by your desire. Be content until God moves on in that area in your life. And if you don't love yourself, learn to love yourself. If you're not dating yourself, learn to date yourself. Try to invest that time within you so that when Mr. Boaz. Okay. When he show up, you will be ready for him. Yeah. So show up ready. So that is my advice. Show up ready. So do the work. If you have not healed over past relationships, show up ready. Start your healing process. Start investing that time in yourself, in your heart, changing your mind, renewing your mind, and even educate yourself on marriage. So that's what I was saying.
That's good. I like that last one. Educate yourself on marriage. Words of encouragement I will leave you is, it is okay to be single. Okay. Like, marriage is beautiful, but honey, believe me, it's a lot of work. Okay. It's a lot of work. So be prepared for that work. That's why I like that you said educate yourself on marriage, because we look at the picture, but you don't know the work that you have to put in that thing. You get what I'm saying? But it is beautiful. But in the meantime, while you are waiting, while you are desiring, like she said, like I feel like you said it all, just learn to love you, enjoy you, allow God to fill those empty voids, discover who you are, and yeah, build your friendships, your community. Be ready, so you won't have to get ready when he come. Okay.
Yes.
So I thank y'all so much for tuning to Broken Out Revive. This is part 1. Stay tuned next week for part 2. Bye.
Bye.